Hey guys, and welcome to season 3 of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and in this season, I get to make my guests laugh, cry, and even make them think about life a little differently with the questions I fire over to them, which digs into their lives and professions a little differently. We even had a chance to change up the intro, giving you a fresh, new sound. I look forward to sharing season 3 of the Us People podcast with you. Let's go.
Hello, lovely beings. My name is Paulina Tenner. I am an author, a keynote speaker, an entrepreneur, and an angel investor. And you are listening to Us People podcast with Savia Rocks.
Made up my mind, now's my time to shine. Now's my time to shine. Time that you let go, time that you let go, now's my time to shine.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and in this episode, I have the lovely Paulina here with me, who is a TEDx speaker, published author, entrepreneur, business mentor, and angel investor. Paulina, thank you so much for coming to the Us People podcast. How are you?
Yay, it's so exciting. I'm so happy to be on. We've been in touch for a while. I know you've done quite a bit of research on me and you've read my book kindly. I'm really looking forward to this conversation, Savia.
Cool. I love it. I love the fact that you got a smile on your face even before we begin. So, Paulina, my first important question that I ask every single guest who comes on the show is, could you tell me a bit about yourself, where you grew up, but also how that influenced you to be the person who you are today?
Absolutely. So I grew up in Poland. I only came to the UK when I was 19 for a scholarship to study at UCL. But all my youth, I was in Poland with my family. I have a lovely family, actually. They are Catholic, so that's kind of shaped my outlook and my values for quite a while. I've got one sister. I was always a really good student. I studied music. I used to go to kind of both regular school and music school in the afternoons and evenings, so I was always very busy. Yeah, I was just one of those kids that are like really good at what they do, whatever they do really, and which, looking back at it was a way to a degree to like earn recognition and attention and love. So so that kind of shaped me a little bit. I still evaluate myself, I think, a bit too much on like what I managed to accomplish in life and how I'm doing things as if I was a human doing as opposed to human being. So I'm kind of learning to unwind that a little bit. But very grateful to my parents, very grateful to my family. I think I was brought up in kind of a sense of love and belonging, which is so important.
Paulina, can you define yourself as a person, but also who do you see when you look in the mirror, and what does your reflection say back to you as an individual? And has there ever been a time where you haven't recognized your reflection staring back at you? How did you manage to come back and be the positive person that you are today?
What a beautiful question. Yeah. So when I look at myself, I really do my best to say something positive. So to say, I really love you, or I really see you. That doesn't always come easily,
That's
but I
true.
really these days make a conscious effort to, when I see myself in the mirror, to send myself a positive message of some sort, a message of support. I wouldn't say that there have been times when I didn't recognize myself. There has been times when I looked at my reflection and I felt like, oh, you look tired, or you look disconnected, or you look like you're not in touch with your creative side, for example, which is, I'm sure we'll come to it, but that's when I started burlesque, like years back, when I was so immersed in business and so kind of focused on developing the left side of my brain, so the logical, rational side. I felt like I was like kind of dying inside to a degree because my creativity and my creative flow was blocked. So sometimes I look at myself and I see things that I'm missing in my life.
Yeah. How did you manage to come back to that? How did you manage to find the things that you were missing in your life? Because people can find that extremely hard, especially when they don't know what they're looking for.
Yeah. I think that if you search deep within, you will find the answer. So I think we are a well of answers and a well of wisdom. It's just a matter of being able to stay connected to that. So I knew something was missing back when I was maybe 2 years into the development of my company, Grant Tree. I was super
Yeah.
busy, and I super focused on business, and I knew something was missing. And then, I had that call of the creative, wacky part of me, which was really unfulfilled at that time. And it felt like it just needed attention. It was crying out, for me to spend some more time with it, to develop it. So that's how I knew that, oh my God, okay, it's the time. If I don't want that side to really wither away, it's time to find a way to nourish it. And the moment you open to it, universe provides. So, there was this completely serendipitous moment when I was like on my way from one meeting to another in Piccadilly Circus, and I stumbled upon this burlesque and cabaret club called Café de Paris. And it was daytime,
Yeah.
so there wasn't even any shows, but they had a burlesque rehearsal. So I just popped in and I was like, oh my God. I saw those feathers, those sequins, the lace, but most importantly, the chutzpah, the charisma, the attitude of the people that were just rehearsing their show.
There's
And I was like,
confidence.
this
Yeah.
is exactly what I've been missing. This is exactly what I've been missing. And I promised to myself I would find out how to become a burlesque showgirl, because there must be a way. You train for it. What do you do? I didn't know at the time, but I asked around, I sent a few emails, and I have come across a burlesque school called The Cheek of It, which I'm actually doing another course with right now as we speak. And I felt this is it. I'm totally giving it a go.
See, I like that
I
enthusiasm.
started performing, and it's been one of the most beautiful adventures of my entire life so
I
far.
love that. I love that. You've got a lot more to see, believe me. I know that for a fact. You have an absolute lot more to see. So let's talk about your values, living your dream, and the way you see victory within yourself when you accomplish something. So, first of all, your values for life. What do you believe your values for life are?
Hmm. So, that's a really interesting question, because I think that, we have this evolutionary purpose. So our purpose kind of changes and evolves as we live, through different stages of life. But there are also things that are like a core of our personality or identity, which kind of are a recurring theme in our life. So when I look for this recurring theme, I see that I really value honesty, for example, ideally like radical honesty. I'm really honest in my relationship. I've been kind of radically honest and transparent in my business. In my business, people set their own salary, financials transparent. So that's a really important one. A value of freedom, personal freedom, and self expression.
I like
Always
that.
a big one. And that's really manifested itself in my creativity. As I said, my kittens are running around like crazy this morning. So if you lovely people listening can hear some weird noises, that will be my kittens,
I
Whiskey and
love it. I love it.
Ginger.
All I hear is
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's Whiskey, a ginger one, and Bubbles, a tri-colored one, just being like on speed this
I
morning. I don't
love
know.
it. I think they know I'm in the building.
Absolutely, they respond to your energy for sure, for sure.
So, talk to me about leadership and victory. So, for example, you started up your business. For me, that is already a victory because it takes a lot of strength, confidence, pride, compassion within yourself, but also kindness to yourself, which I know a lot of people are starting to understand that they need to have in order for them to live and succeed the way that they want to. But what does leadership mean to you and having the victory of doing something that you love?
Hmm. Leadership means putting yourself out there, taking a stand for something that you believe in. It means not being afraid to shine, not apologizing to the world for your leadership qualities, for your charisma,
Okay.
being ready to guide others, but not impose yourself on others. That's really, really important. Just mostly really taking a stand for something that you care about. So we can be leaders, every one of us, in our own personal life, how we show up in different situations in life. You don't have to be at the head of a massive company to be a leader. You can be a
That's true.
leader in any simple situation in life. It's all about how you show up, how you take a stand for things that you believe in.
I love that. That's a really good answer, and I hope that people take that answer with them, especially the part when you say you don't have to be at the top to be a leader in what you do.
Absolutely.
That's very important for people to understand, because a lot of people in the world think you have to be a CEO or managing director for people to actually take you seriously. But sometimes it's just about the energy you give into your work that shows people you are a leader in what you do. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much for saying that. That's really important.
Mm.
One of the things I do want to ask you, and I love asking this question, is what is a day in your life like? So from when you woke up in the morning with the cats, for example, so then you go maybe to how you get ready, how you mentally prepare yourself, how you go and do your business journey, stripping in the evening or the daytime, whichever it is that you do. What is a day in your life like?
Yeah, sure. So I wake up quite early. I have 3 times a week. I have a gym session at 7 a.m., which is a really good start to the day. If I'm not exercising in the morning, then I really like to ground myself, do a short meditation, do a little bit of journaling about my mental health the day before while I remember it. Obviously, feed the kittens, like give them a cuddle. Yeah, that's a really important one. Usually, I'm up earlier than my husband, so I'm the one to feed them in the morning. And I have breakfast, healthy breakfast quite early on as well. So I would have some, I don't know, eggs typically, or a egg white omelette or something like that, and coffee, a lovely coffee, obviously. And then, my day can unfold in a variety of different ways. So I'm blessed enough to have built up my company to a level where it's got about 50 people in it, and it doesn't need me full time anymore. So I'm an advisor to it, and I'm at the same time have the freedom to focus on all sorts of personal projects.
Cool.
I can really be guided by my intuition and my feeling as to what I feel drawn to on a given day, what I feel like working on, which, obviously I have deadlines and I have priorities. So when I was editing it in my book, for example, I was really hyper focused on that. These days, I'm really focused on booking speaking gigs, for example. I'm really
Yes.
kind of out there promoting the book a lot. By the way, you should check out my book, What the Business Leader Learned from the Stripper, Laid Bare. It's on paulinatenner.com/book. It's just something I'm really, really proud about, and like really happy to have released this kind of brain baby into the world. Uh, I just had the official launch date earlier this week, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. But yeah, my day can unfold in a variety of ways. But one thing I love to do is to kind of run around a little bit, meet people here, there, have a coffee with someone there, here, a lunch with someone there. So not be kind of by my desk
Yeah.
24/7. Like that's not my style.
Yeah. Same.
And I really do my best to do something nice and social in the evening. So it could be just connecting with my husband. It could be seeing one of my friends. It could be taking a French class. I'm learning French twice a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes a bit of exercise, particularly if I didn't manage to in the morning. Yeah, I go to bed around 11, sometimes midnight, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, just doing my best to really disconnect from the screens, from the noise of the world a little bit before I go to bed to really have a good night's sleep. Yeah.
I like that. I definitely like that. So you were so excited in a specific part when we were just talking, which is your
Mhm.
book. Let's talk about your book, because I know you're going to bring the energy with the book. Okay.
Hmm.
Laid Bare. I had a chance of reading your book, which is awesome. I have everything in front of me, which no one can actually see at the moment. But I want you to break down the reason behind you writing the book. I have loads of questions for you. So tell me about your book, where it came from in your mind, and how was your mental attitude towards writing this book for people to read?
Yeah, good question. So again, it was a bit of kind of serendipity in the universe showing me the way
Mm-hmm.
because um, a couple of years back, I had this like a lot of creative energy. I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. But I remember a few friends in the space of a couple of weeks maybe mentioning something like, "Oh, you should write. You should really write." And I was
Yeah.
like, I never really considered, like, I've written blog posts and articles, but I've never considered writing anything bigger. And then, after one particular lunch with a friend, I decided to kind of sit down, open a Google Doc, and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And things started pouring out of me. And obviously they were far from the finished version of the book, which was like many edits and
Yeah.
restructurings and things like that. But that kind of showed me, oh wow, I've got this like big creative urge to write, to share with the world what I'm about. So back then I had no idea what the real structure of the book would be, how it would kind of what shape it would take, but I just enjoyed pouring things onto paper.
Yeah. I like that.
And it was just a great, great pleasure. And it felt like kind of flowing with it. So I would get inspired by something, I would write about it. Obviously, I wrote a lot about my company, Grant Tree.
Yeah.
Um, I wrote about my adventures as a burlesque artist,
Yeah.
which is a hobby that I have. But back then, I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't have the kind of spine of the book yet, or the kind of a, an anchor of it, which came up later, and which was all about showing how performing on stage and reconnecting with my creative, intuitive, feminine side of my leadership has really allowed me to come into myself and become a more powerful leader overall. So that came later. But back then, I was just like flowing with my where my inspiration took me, and that was absolutely beautiful adventure, and definitely won't be the last book.
I like that. Sit, guys. You heard it here. It definitely won't be the last book. Okay. I love that. So, how do you feel that you, within your book, because I know you talk about investing and you talk about people just owning themselves. How do you feel that you help businesses within writing your book to go for what they want in life rather than staying stuck?
Hmm. Well, I hope I show people that it helps so much to be in touch with your soul's and heart's desire. That if you hear that kind of knocking, or that, calling out of your spirit, like back when I was so immersed in business, I felt that my creativity was dying and withering away. If you
Yeah,
hear that call, just respond to it,
yeah,
because very often we've got things that we used to love doing that we've abandoned. We've got this kind of beautiful artistic divine child part of us that is trying to speak to us in many ways, and um it's so important to be able to reconnect with the things that we've left behind, with the wilder, creative, rebellious, provocative part of ourselves. It could take different shapes and forms because, for me, that was took the form of like performing on stage and being a burlesque girl, but it could be anything. It could be just this weird hobby that you used to have or something you dreamt about doing when you were a kid. And when you manage to reconnect with it, oh, it's just so beautiful and so powerful. So I hope I can inspire people to do that in their lives and show them how, by doing that, they become more powerful
I like that.
leaders overall.
I like that. How does on stage help you with your? This is one question that I love to ask anybody
Mm,
who performs on stage. Okay, I have a lot of creative people who find the creative inspiration within themselves to stay strong and love what they do. And you are right. A lot of people are backing away because, for example, corporate world can be tough. Okay,
yeah.
we know it can be tough business wise. And a lot of corporate people do have an immense amount of creativity within themselves to be great and be able to do both, but for some reason they don't.
Mm.
How do you feel being on stage and just having that confidence helps you in your
Mm.
daily business life?
Oh, yeah. So I've experienced some of the most beautiful times in my life, actually, being on stage and not being either a performer or a public speaker, which is why I love public speaking so much. I just experienced this moment where you're completely in the flow and your kind of ego and your personal agenda dissolves and you just feel like a vehicle for something else, a higher power perhaps, to communicate through you or to guide you. And it's not something that I've experienced very often, but enough times in my life to really feel like it's the most beautiful state I can possibly be in. Um, and I just love how, both performing and public speaking is about this stunning exchange of energy between me and the audience. So I give them my talent, my charisma, my ideas. They give me appreciation, attention in the end. And one feeds the other. The audience feeds me, I feed them. And it just feels like this stunning exchange of energy that can happen when obviously there's the right conditions, people are not distracted, and your performance or your talk is delivered and structured well enough to really engage, to really vulnerably engage, as opposed to kind of deliver some content and get off stage and that's that. But really vulnerably, engage with who those people are in this particular moment. What do they care about? To really reveal something vulnerable about yourself.
Yeah.
That's when the most beautiful moments happen. So that's why I'm, a total addict of being on stage, being in front of people. I don't think it's something that will ever go away for me.
That's good. I'm glad you said that. And that I hope that gives people who are listening the strength to understand that what you do love, you should carry on doing. Because people
Yeah,
seem to think that you can only do one and not the other. Whereas if you just divide your time in a certain way, you should be able to do as many things as your heart desires. And
absolutely.
that's just my personal look. Okay, I have loads of people have asked me loads of questions when I was speaking about you a lot, and I know that
Oh,
we rearranged and we came back to do the interview, and I'm so glad we're doing it today. So when I said that I was going to speak to you, certain people asked me certain questions. So I said, okay, I'll ask Paulina one of the questions. One of the questions were this whole stigma about stripping and being on stage
mm,
and stuff, right?
mm. And
So
sexuality, expressing yourself kind of
ex-
sexually in our
exactly.
society in general.
Right, people have this stigma about strippers and how they are and how they look, or what they do for a living. You're nothing of what and this is me being completely honest. People have this stigma, but when I see you, you are a positive professional business lady who knows what she wants, who knows how she does it, who helps people evolve as individuals. Why do people, in your opinion, have a stigma about people who are strippers? Because you can be anything you want in life.
Mm.
I don't understand the whole stigma around and judgment around this specific profession. Could you break it down for me?
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. The whole stigma around sexuality and sexual energy in general, which is so precious because it's tied to our life force. It is our life force, really, our creative power. I think it just comes from the whole civilizational, societal, Judeo Christian, and even earlier, possibly, um, setup and makeup of our society. And it's kind of makes me sad because I'm really into Tantra as well, which talks not
Mm.
just about sexuality, but a whole philosophy for life. And it talks a lot about how potent sexual power is, and to not have that included in our being or incorporated into our life as adults feels, yeah, feels like we've been missing out on a massive potential within ourselves. So yeah, burlesque performers and strippers are sometimes seen by people as, oh, this is so degrading, this is so morally ambiguous. And I think if you actually have been to a burlesque show, you will understand that there could be nothing further from the truth in that
Exactly.
it's actually massively empowering, massively empowering. Right now, as I mentioned, I'm developing another burlesque act with the Cheek of It Burlesque School, and I'm in a group of ladies, maybe about 20 of them, beautiful beings. And if like the rehearsals that we have, the get-togethers that we have, the power, the joy, the creativity that's kind of present in that room when we're together, it's amazing. And the kind of sisterhood, the connections, that I just see a group of beautiful, like truly empowered, life loving, audacious, joyful women of all shapes and sizes, all skin colors, all ages that are coming together to create something beautiful. And when you come to a show, and if particularly if you haven't been, really encourage you to, my particular, if you're London based, my graduation ceremony is at the Bedford on the 4th of April, and sorry, 3rd of April, and there's going to be a group of us performing. But there's many opportunities to see burlesque shows in the US, in the UK, everywhere. You will see how, the best performers are those who are absolutely loving and cherishing every moment they're on stage, who are absolutely loving and cherishing their bodies, and they really don't have to be model like bodies, that are really, celebrating their femininity and sometimes masculinity, because I've seen
Yeah.
boylesque performers as well, and I really, bringing that power of sensual and sexual expression onto the stage, and by doing so empowering those who are watching to be really more connected to their bodies, more connected to their sexual expression. And it's just this beautiful magical sharing. I mean, it's honestly one of the most beautiful things that happened to me in my life, my adventure with burlesque, and may it long
Imagine.
continue.
Hey, I like that.
So yeah, so I totally understand it's not for everyone, but before you judge burlesque or stripping as something degrading or something morally ambiguous, please, I beg you, come to a burlesque show, experience it for
Yes, I like that. And do you know what? It happened to me because it was my birthday and we were
yourself.
walking around a couple of years ago before the whole COVID situation happened. And we walked into a venue and I didn't know what the venue was. And my friends took me
Mhm.
there and I got to see one. And I was like, this is awesome. This is
Mm,
awesome. The empowerment, the confidence, everything that you think it would be turned out not at all.
mm,
Not at all. And I agree with you. If you are ever near one, in central London especially, go and see one because
mm,
it's pretty cool. Paulina, my question for you is, when
mm.
was the last time you felt peace in your life?
Um, Actually, this morning,
I like
and it's
that.
beautiful because, this morning I woke up, my kittens were jumping all over the bed, so I was like, "Oh, what's that?" But I woke up, I had my coffee, I had my egg white omelette. I was just sat on the bed a little bit, preparing, mentally for talking to you, and I was like, "Life is good. I'm grateful." I'm grateful.
Amazing.
Yesterday I felt a bit low energy, but overall it was a good day. Today is looking like it'll be an even better day. And I'm just grateful for being where I am, doing what I'm doing.
I like that.
And I would love to have opportunities today, starting with this conversation,
Yeah.
to really bring something positive to people's lives, however small it is. I would love for the universe to show me how to be more present, to be more of service, or to bring something beautiful to whoever I meet on my path today.
hmm I think you're doing that already. I think you're absolutely doing
Thank
that
you.
already. Talk to me about diversity. I know that's very important to you
Mhm.
because you've spoken about people who you work with from different cultures, different backgrounds. How do you feel like you are a part of diversity, and what do you feel you bring to diversity in the world?
Mm. Yeah, so diversity is a kind of such an interesting concept because we can talk about diversity in terms of race, gender,
Yeah.
socioeconomic background, but we can talk also about inner diversity. So the different identities, personalities, qualities that we have within ourselves.
Yes.
For me, when I started doing burlesque, I discovered a whole different part of myself. And I discovered that, our true power lies at the intersection of where different parts of our personality or identity meet and interact.
Yes.
So I never thought I could marry up the businesswoman and the stripper and have them talk to each other and learn from each other until I did, I think it was back 2014, my TEDx talk, which actually inspired my book, where I literally, talked to the audience as a businesswoman. And on the backdrop, I had slides with photos of me as a burlesque girl. And I was really making fun of this. I was like, you cannot tell anybody about this because it could drive my career into the pavement. So keep quiet. And I was just, I was making fun of all these worries and dilemmas I used to have. But I wanted to bring all of me to the world, to be open about all of the things that I am and that I do. So when we talk about diversity, which is hugely important, in the workplace, in the creative process, let's not forget about the inner diversity as well. So about like how bringing together different aspects of who we are can really unlock our true power. Yeah.
That's true. That is definitely true. If there was one quote, excuse me, if there was one quote that represented who you are as a person, what one quote would you choose and why would you choose that particular quote?
This is obviously difficult because I've had many things at many different stages of my life that resonated. But one that comes to me now is from late Tony Shai, who was the CEO of Zappos, a company, a shoe e-commerce company that got sold to Amazon, that we were really inspired by actually because they run a system called Holacracy, which we also run, and they are a similar company in terms of their structure and values. And he said something along the lines of, in a little book called Delivering Happiness, which is, a
Yeah,
book where he outlines how he
yeah.
started and grew his company. He'd said something along the lines of envision, create, and believe in your own universe, and that universe will shape itself around you.
I like that.
And I just really love it because, in my life, I am about creating this little bubble, whether it's with my businesses, with my creative projects, just creating an alternative reality for myself in terms of what I want my world to look like. And then what I notice that it often, the circumstances around it kind of transform themselves to accommodate that little bubble. That the universe kind of supports me in creating that little universe, like it did with my company Grantry, and it grew and it became much bigger than I thought it would have been. So I think many a time, if we really take the time and the effort to create something for ourselves, our piece of reality, the external universe
Yeah, yeah.
adjusts to accommodate that piece of reality within it.
See, that's a really good concept and way of looking of life. I love that. What is the best advice you have ever received from someone? And how has it helped you in your business life and your personal life?
Um, I've received lots of advice because I really believe in talking to mentors and people that know more than me and surrounding myself with people that have accomplished more and that are kind of people I aspire to become. Probably it would have been about trusting myself, so trusting my intuition and
It's a big one.
surrounding myself with a really strong support network. So
Yeah.
that's particularly important for any founder or any female founder. So all those of you who are listening who are wanting to start businesses or wanting to create something new in the world, really important to have that beautiful, strong personal support network, people who have your back, who will be there for you, through the ups and the lows. So that's just really, really, important, because being a leader, being somebody who dares to take a stand is sometimes a lonely thing, and it's sometimes a difficult
Yeah.
thing to do. And trusting yourself, trusting your intuition is hugely important as well, because so often we ignore that little voice or that kind of hunch in our gut, and then we discover, oh my God, have I listened to that?
Yeah.
I think we should really strive, and I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to you listening. We should really strive to um, empower that little voice, to magnify it, to really be able to distinguish it from the multitude of voices we have within us, and allow it to guide us.
I like that. I can hear that you were also talking to yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm in no position to kind of give other people advice from on high. No, I'm still learning. I'm
Yeah.
just so much in the process of life, creating and shaping myself every day. As I'm sure do you, lovely people who are listening. So, yeah, so that's the advice to all of us.
If there was one song that was the soundtrack of your life, Paulina, what song would you choose and why would you choose that particular song? She's smiling,
The
guys.
first thing that came to mind is a song that I'm going to use in my upcoming burlesque act, and birds flying high.
Aye,
You
aye,
know
aye.
how I feel, sun in the sky. You know how I feel, and so on and so on. And it's Feeling Good, and it's a particular version by Nina Simone, who's one of my
Yes.
favorite artists. She's so powerful. She is such an amazing, badass woman. And it's a song because, I if you read my book, you will see that I have had, and I'm still on a journey with mental health. I have not felt good throughout my life, but I've always searched for that place within me where I'm in harmony and at peace. And I knew that that is the true inner wealth, to be at peace, to find that place of groundedness, of alignment with your higher self. So, that is something that probably would be a song that really guides me through life, in that I don't always feel good, not at all, but I search for that place. I remember what it felt like. I come back to it time and time again.
What was the hardest part of writing your book for you?
Hmm. I think it might have been the continuous kind of like re-edits and restructuring of it. So I really enjoyed the initial creative process, but then kind of defining what it really is, asking myself all the vital questions around who will read it, why will they read it, what will they get out of it, and discarding a lot of like very kind of, I thought, inspired creative stuff that I've written because it really didn't fit with the overall concept. That was relatively hard, I'd say, because it felt like, it's no longer about me, my creative process. No, it's about the recipient, and it's
Yeah.
about what they will get out of it. And just shifting that mindset, and just remembering that it is actually about who I'm talking to and how they will engage with the book. That was, a change in perspective that was very much
Yeah.
needed. And I think in that because of it, writing the second book might be a little bit easier, in that from the beginning I'll be more focused on who am I writing for, what are they getting out of it, why would
Yeah.
they, dedicate their precious time, which, we all have a finite amount of time to engage with my work.
That's true. That's definitely true. When did you realize that language had power, especially communicating through writing or speaking? Because you are both. You are a speaker, out loud and present, but you're also a writer, out loud and present. When did you realize that language of any kind had power to communicate with people?
Mm, I think from relatively early childhood, when I started studying music, and music is the most universal language that exists. I saw the power that communicating in that language had, how it united people, how it really touched people's hearts and souls and beings. And I was like, wow, communicating through music can have a profound impact on somebody's world, can be a profound tool of connection. And then later on, I started performing on stage, so I kind of rediscovered the power of actual language, spoken word,
Yeah.
and a performative side of myself as a creative being. So it's been a process, and it's something that I still keep coming back to and rediscovering with every good, fulfilling performance or public speech that I give. I'm like, wow, I can really change, I can really touch someone. Like, isn't it a gift to be on stage?
Yeah.
So I see being on stage as a blessing and a gift, and then the responsibility as well to really use that time in order to create a meaningful connection with those listening.
One of the most important questions I like to ask is very simple, but what would you like your legacy to be
Mm.
when you decide, and only when you decide, that you have done enough in the world? How would you like people in the world of generations here now and generations to come remember you as a person?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't have like a very grandiose vision, because I think it's much more important, at least for me, to feel like I've touched several people's lives, maybe more, and inspire them or change something for the better. But should the universe want to put me in a position of leadership, well, I will have a chance to affect thousands or millions of lives. I would just it's not about how they remember me, it's about how much more empowered they feel in themselves, to carry out their mission. So I wouldn't say it's so important for them to remember, oh, Paulina was this person who did XYZ, or who was this ridiculous burlesque performer. I mean, if people remember me for who I was, that's lovely and that's beautiful. But more important to me is that they take away something that they have discovered within themselves, their
Yeah.
power, their creativity, their expression, as a result of connecting with me. That would be amazing.
I love that. That sounds good to me. Paulina, I only have one more for you. The most important one, okay?
No
Where
pressure.
can no pressure, okay? No pressure. Where can everyone find you on all your social media platforms?
Mhm.
Where can they buy your book? Where can they get in contact with you if they want to know more about you?
Absolutely. So, um, I would absolutely love to see and to hear what you think about what I've written, if it resonates, what you've taken away from my book. I know Savia liked it, so hopefully you can take something for yourselves from my story. You can find my book on Paulina Tenner, so my
Yep.
first last name.com/book. And
Mm-hmm.
there, you have a button that will take you to Amazon UK and Amazon US, where you can easily get it. Something worth mentioning, because I love giving back and connecting with entrepreneurs. Until the end of this month, I have a particular offer running. So if you are happy to buy my book and write an short Amazon review, I promise to find 30 minutes in my diary to connect around what's important to you. So, for example, to give
I
you,
like that.
as I'm an angel investor as well, to give you feedback around your pitch, or to help you develop your idea, or to help you figure out how to deal with a particular difficulty in your business. And the way to connect with me, if you'd like to take me up on that offer, is on my email is simply me@paulinatenner.com. I'm at Paulina Tenner on all social media. That's Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Facebook, whatever you. So it's not difficult to find me. So if you'd like to take me up on that offer, simply, ping me a screenshot of your review, and I promise to find some time in my diary for you for a one-to-one session. Even though my diary tends to get quite busy, I love to connect with entrepreneurs, so I figured out that's what I want to do. And what else? Yes, and also on my website, you can easily subscribe to my newsletter, where I keep you updated about my speaking gigs, about my burlesque performances, and everything else, where you can have the opportunity to see me and to kind of discover a bit more of my world.
See, guys, go ahead. That's an opportunity right there. That's a door that's open for you. Paulina, this is the time where I say to you, thank you so much for your time, your energy, your wisdom, your cats,
Oh yeah, my cats are still here.
your your love of life. Please
Thank
keep
you,
doing
Georgia.
what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And thank you for all your energy today. Thank you so much.
And I absolutely loved connecting with you, my dear. And since we're based not too far from each other, I hope it's a start of a friendship. I would love to
It
say.
sure is.
I really
It
appreciate
definitely
you for what you do as well, for how much time you put into actually, finding out about me and who I am and how to engage with me. So thank you and bless you, and let's stay in contact.
Most definitely, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the As People podcast, and please remember, you can subscribe and leave us a review on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and any other platform that you prefer listening to. Please also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can also donate to the As People podcast by simply going to the Savvy Rocks website or just typing in paypal.me/Us People podcast. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another.
Time to let it go. Now's my time. Now's my time. Time to let it go. Now's my time. Now's my time. Time to let it go. Now is the time for me to focus. Stop all that playing hocus pocus. Stop doing it yourself. You need a little help. This time I want to see you shining. I think you
No, I'm just thinking that I really enjoyed it. I'm going to take a little bit of time to kind of like ground myself, because I got quite excited while talking. But you're right, I'm very, very relaxed. It's going to be a good day.
It's worth it, cause nobody's perfect. Sometimes you need to say, I'm gonna be okay. Made up my mind, now is my time to shine. Now is my time to shine. Time that you let go, time that you let go. Now is my time to shine. Now is my time to shine. Now is my time to shine. Time that you let go, time that you let go. Now is my time to shine. Time to let it go. Now is my time. Now is my time. Time to let it go. Now is my time. Now is my time. Time to let it go. Now is my time. Now is my time. Time to let it go. You are your own worst enemy. Thinking too far, what's ahead of me? One day at a time. Just enjoy the ride. Open those eyes, see the light. Ignite that fire inside it. Let it breathe breath into life. Push all your fears to the side. Control your mind, it's all alright. Enjoy your life, the joy is mine. Commit to you, you got the tools. Everything you do, you make the rules.